Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. That's when he tried biting. I ain't even noticed that till somebody said something. Somebody said he tried to bite me. I ain't know nothing until somebody said that shit after the fight. And look, they talking about it.
Oh, whoa, whoa. Well, it's another comparison I don't want to make to Mike Tyson, but
Now that's crazy. That's what he do. He get dirty.
After the controversy in round 9, Roach now claims that Davis tried to bite his ear in round 6, comparing it to Mike Tyson's famous incident with Evander Holyfield. Roach landed more clean punches and controlled key parts of the fight, which led many to question the final decision. Then Joe Budden added fuel to the fire by strongly supporting Roach, saying, "I owe that man an apology. He really earned my respect. That was a great fight, the best I've ever seen against Tank. I think he won. If they had counted the knockdown, he would have won." Budden's words have shocked the boxing world, with many now believing Roach was denied a fair victory. Fans and analysts are closely examining the fight, and Roach's performance has proven that he belongs at the top level. The pressure is increasing on Davis as calls for a rematch grow louder. Former fighters, trainers, and analysts mostly agree that Roach deserved a better outcome, especially since the knockdown in round 9 was not counted, which could have changed everything. Sergio Mora, a former world champion and respected analyst, also spoke out saying it was a great performance by Roach and that it was terrible the judges didn't count the knockdown. His words reflect what many have been saying since the final bell. Roach's effort was undeniable, but the official result told a different story. Demands for a rematch and accountability are getting stronger, and many in the boxing community are now questioning if this fight will lead to changes in how big fights are judged. Roach's team is staying vocal, refusing to let the controversy fade, and the boxing world is watching closely. Another major voice, Joe Rogan, also spoke up. Known for his deep understanding of combat sports, Rogan didn't hold back and said, "Roach did more than just win rounds. He scored a knockout that wasn't counted." His opinion has only made the controversy even bigger.
You didn't think
great fight, but I just champion guy taking a knee, talking about greasing his hair.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I'm like, yo, how you just in the middle of the fight just go wipe your face?
Also, here's the deal: if you take a knee, that's a knockdown.
That's a knockdown. Subtract 2, right?
You got hit with a jab.
Yeah.
You took a knee.
And then you walked off.
Exactly. That is a knockdown.
Yeah.
So I think they're reviewing that right now.
Rogan's statement has added even more support to Roach's case, and the boxing world is now in chaos. Many people believe the sport needs better referees and judging. Fans are demanding answers, and some are calling this one of the biggest robberies in recent history. Roach's reputation is at its highest, and his supporters are standing strongly behind him. The call for justice is growing louder, and the boxing community is watching closely to see what happens next. The controversy around the GervontaDavis versus Lamont Roach fight continues to grow, with many fans and analysts already calling it a robbery. Another powerful voice has joined the conversation, Canelo Alvarez. Boxing superstar didn't hold back, saying that Davis's actions in the ring were unacceptable. According to Canelo, what happened in that fight should have resulted in a disqualification.
Did Davis take a knee, and should he have been deducted a point and in the end lost that fight to Roach, in your opinion?
Yeah, in my opinion, if it was a draw, he take a knee. And plus the corner go up and put it a towel in the face, that's a disqualification for sure. I'm talking about the rules, but it's not my...
Canelo's statement has sent shockwaves through the boxing world, adding even more strength to Roach's case. Many believe that if a legend like Canelo is calling out the injustice, then action must be taken. Roach's team is now pushing even harder for a rematch, refusing to accept the decision without a fight. Meanwhile, Davis has stayed silent, not responding to the growing backlash, even as calls for accountability get louder. The boxing world is now divided, and with big names like Canelo speaking out, the pressure on Davis and the officials is higher than ever. Despite the rising support from boxing legends and fans, Lamont Roach took things further by officially appealing the fight's outcome. His team presented strong arguments, highlighting missed calls and questionable decisions by the referee. Many believed the appeal could change the result, or at least lead to a rematch. However, in a move...
I mean, I expected that. I don't really see them doing that. Tank is too big of an attraction. New York, I felt like for a while I was battling with Las Vegas for the big fights. Big fights are edging back to New York. Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia was in New York. Tank was in New York with this one, with Lamont. Tank was also in New York for, was it a Rolly?
Wilder Helenius, New York.
Wilder Helene. You know what I mean? So what I'm trying to say is New York trying to stay in the in the mix when it comes to the big fights. So I didn't, and the reason that matters is because they lose out on a lot of big shows if they overturn it. If they keep it a draw, we get to see the draw again in New York.
Move that frustrated fans, the appeal was rejected. This ruling allowed Davis to keep his undefeated record, while the controversy remains unresolved. Greg Hackett shared his thoughts on the decision, explaining why overturning the result was unlikely. He highlighted how big business influences boxing, with states like New York wanting to host major fights. Keeping the original result allows for a high-profile rematch, helping the city stay in the spotlight. While this benefits promoters and venues, it left Roach and his team with no choice but to fight even harder for a rematch. The rejection of the appeal has sparked even more outrage, with fans demanding fairness in the sport. Now that the appeal has been denied, the focus has fully shifted to securing a rematch. Roach is determined not to let this fight go without a clear ending. His team is pushing hard for another chance, believing the fight deserves a decisive winner. Fans, analysts, and fellow fighters are all calling on Davis to accept the challenge and settle the controversy once and for all. The first fight was close, and many believe a rematch.
Learn from the first fight. You gotta learn from the first fight, and you gotta bring something different, but at the same time, you still gotta be careful. That goes for both sides. You can't pick a winner. The fight was too good. You can't pick a winner. I see where Lamont neutralized Tank, and I see where Tank neutralized Lamont. Somebody gotta go even further. This might be one of them Jones, man.
Match would be even bigger, with both fighters now having something to prove. The demand is rising, and everything is in place for a high-stakes showdown. Greg Hackett shared his thoughts on the rematch, stressing that both fighters need to make important adjustments. He said Roach must learn from the first fight and come in with a new strategy, while Davis also needs to be more cautious. Since the first fight was too close to call, a rematch has become even more exciting. With no clear winner in the first bout, a second fight is the only way to settle the score. Both sides understand what's at stake, and if the rematch happens, it could become one of the biggest fights in recent boxing history. Julian Gonzalez also shared his view, admitting the first fight was tough and highly competitive. He leaned toward Roach winning but wasn't upset about the draw, recognizing how close it really was.
Who do you feel like wins the rematch?
Who wins the rematch?
Yeah.
They're both gonna come ready again. See, the first one was a tough one too. I had Lamont pulling it off. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, smudge. Like, I wasn't mad at the draw. You know, I'm gonna rock with Lamont though.
Think Lamont takes it?
It's hard.
Close, yo.
Because Lamont surprised me a lot. You know, so yeah, I'm gonna say Lamont, man.
More voices from the boxing world speak out. The pressure on Davis to accept the rematch keeps growing. Roach has made it clear that he wants another chance, and his team is doing everything they can to make it happen. Fans are rallying behind him, believing he deserves a fair shot at getting a clear win. The controversy from the first fight hasn't faded, and a rematch seems to be the only way to settle the score. With both fighters now having something to prove, the boxing world is preparing for what could be one of the most anticipated fights of the year. Joe Rogan also shared his thoughts on the rematch, calling it one of the most exciting fights in the division. He pointed out that aside from top names like Shakur Stevenson and Lomachenko, there aren't many big challenges left for Davis, which makes the rematch with Roach even more important. Not just for Roach, but for Davis too. With the
Very exciting, though. And I think that's great for Gervonta because other than Shakur, who's the other major star, and then Lomachenko if he decides to fight again. But other than that, there's not a lot of compelling
challenges out there for him.
So now this Lamont Roach fight becomes like the most compelling fight in the division.
controversy from the first fight still fresh, running it back would bring massive attention and finally settle the debate once and for all. Rogan's comments have added even more momentum to the growing demand for a rematch. The first fight proved that Roach is a real threat, and many believe he deserves another shot at Davis. But the rematch isn't just about Roach proving himself, it's also a chance for Davis to show he can win in a clear and convincing way. A second fight could be one of the biggest events in boxing, attracting both casual viewers and die-hard fans. With both fighters having so much to gain, the pressure to make the rematch happen is intense. Rogan continued to praise Lamont Roach, highlighting his fearless performance against GervontaDavis. He noted that Davis usually dominates his opponents, with many fighters hesitant to engage. But Roach was different. He stepped in confidently and gave a performance that showed he belongs at the elite level.
But they have fought in the amateurs before. I think they fought twice in the amateurs. But Lamont's a new star. That guy's super legit. Super legit and very skillful. Like the way it wasn't just that like Gervonta didn't show up or Gervonta wasn't at his best. No, like Lamont fought a fantastic fight. You know what I'm excited for, man? Terence Crawford and Canelo. That's
gonna be a big one.
That's the one.
That's a big, huge fight.
That's the one. That's the one.
Yeah,
a lot of people think Terence is too small. He weighed himself.
Rogan's words have only strengthened Roach's growing reputation in the boxing world. He didn't just survive against Davis, he fought back and made it one of the toughest battles of Davis's career. Fans and analysts now see Roach as a legitimate top contender, not just a tough opponent. His performance has changed the conversation about the lightweight division, placing his name alongside the best in the sport. With this momentum, a rematch with Davis wouldn't just be about settling the controversy, it would be a fight between two of the division's biggest names with everything on the line. Regis Prograis also shared his thoughts on the rematch, leaning in favor of GervontaDavis. He believes that if Davis and Roach meet again, Davis will stop him in the second fight. Prograis pointed out that the first fight didn't go as expected, but he feels the rematch will be different. There have been rumors that Davis wasn't mentally at his best going into the first fight, and some believe that affected his performance.
To be honest.
Tell me why.
I think he'll stop him in the rematch, too.
Tell me why.
I think he'll stop him. I mean, well, I just feel like
your boy Shock said that they were sparring over there. That the round two, the next fight, we're gonna get like what we expected. Did you feel any of that?
That's what I feel, bro. I feel like the next fight, I feel like I think Tank will put him on the next fight. Now it's all rumors and stuff. Of course, we don't know if it's true, but I mean, I heard that Tank was going through a lot of stuff, bro. We all know, bro. Like, well, I know, but a lot of people, I mean, as a fighter, bro, it's more.
Despite Prograis favoring Davis, many still believe Roach has what it takes to pull off the upset. His ability to match Davis in the first fight proved he's not just another opponent. He's a serious contender. If Davis was really dealing with personal issues, a more focused version of him in the rematch could be an even bigger challenge. However, Roach is only getting better, and his confidence has soared after standing toe-to-toe with one of boxing's most feared punchers. The rematch wouldn't just be about settling the controversy, it would be about proving who the better fighter really is. Regis Prograis also discussed Davis's mindset leading up to the fight, emphasizing the mental side of boxing. He pointed out that fighters are human and deal with personal struggles just like anyone else. According to Prograis, Davis had a lot going on outside the ring, which may have affected his performance. He referred to Davis's interviews where he spoke about retirement and therapy, suggesting that Davis's mind wasn't fully
like everybody is. So we got a lot of mental going on, a lot of personal stuff going on, and when you got all that stuff going on, bro, like it'll get in your head. You know what I'm saying? So I heard that Tank had a lot of stuff going on. And you can tell, bro, you can even hear him in the interviews. He was talking about retirement. He was talking about going to therapy. So when you hear that, bro, you know, like, he's not mentally there. He's not clear. He's not.
Davis's mental state has become a major talking point leading up to a potential rematch. Some believe that a fully focused Davis will perform much better the second time around, while others argue that Roach's skill was the real reason the fight was so close. Regardless, the rematch is shaping up to be much bigger than the first, with both fighters having something to prove. If Davis was truly distracted before, he now has the chance to show the world what he can do at 100%. Meanwhile, Roach is more motivated than ever, knowing he came close to shocking the boxing world and is determined to finish the job in the rematch. Regis Prograis doubled down on his belief that Davis wasn't fully locked in for the first fight. He pointed out that, leading up to the bout, Davis's words and body language showed signs his mind was elsewhere. From talks about retirement to mentions of therapy, it seemed like Davis was carrying personal struggles into the ring. Prograis believes these distractions played a big role in why the fight was so competitive. However, he also made it clear that things could be very different in a rematch if Davis comes in mentally sharp. He said, "Yeah, bro, I just felt like he was going to have a hard fight." Just from him saying that stuff, it's like he wasn't there. He wasn't clear. But I feel like in a rematch, he'll be clear. If Davis was truly distracted, the rematch could give him the perfect chance to prove himself without the outside noise. He could show the dominant form that made him one of the most feared fighters in the sport. At the same time, Roach now has the confidence and experience to go the distance with him. Unlike the first fight, Roach knows exactly what to expect and will make adjustments to capitalize on any weaknesses. Whether Davis comes in stronger or not, Roach isn't backing down. The rematch is no longer just about settling a controversy, it's about proving who the real winner should be. Prograis continued to break down the factors that may have affected Davis's performance in the first fight. He pointed out that Davis wasn't just dealing with personal struggles, but also issues within his training camp. Problems with his longtime trainer, Kevin Ford, may have contributed to him not being fully prepared. Prograis believes that once these distractions are cleared, Davis will return to his usual dominant self. He remains confident that a focused Davis will not only win the rematch, but do so in a convincing